Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
My name's John T.
My name's Andy.
Good evening, gentlemen. Sorry, I've just got the camera locks on me. Let me just change that. Gremlins. There we go. We're off. It's episode 200, gentlemen. Congratulations on reaching the 200, particularly you, Granville. You've probably done more than anyone, apart from myself, of course. Yeah. So 200, we made it.
You don't look a day older, Mark.
I know. Incredible, isn't it?
That's because of all this luck you've had over 200 episodes. Look at me. I'm losing it. Look at that.
I should be grey by rights, shouldn't I? John T, we've made 200. I think you must have done about 50 or 60 by now.
Yeah.
Do you think we'd make it this far?
No, I never thought you were capable of it, but I'm really pleased you are, and it's been going for hundreds of years now, and it's fantastic achievement.
It feels like hundreds of years for sure. Yeah. Yes, Andy, you're a mere novice, so we're whippersnapper around these parts, but thank you for seeing us through to the 200.
No worries, yeah, glad to have been there. I think even I'm up to about 25 or so now, so yeah, enjoying it, and who knows, 200 more, I reckon.
Oh, I don't know about that. Keep it. We'll see.
I'll be well retired by then.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to talk about a variety of things. It's going to get a bit bizarre later on. We're going to talk about our game week scores. We're here to talk about fantasy football. We're going to veer off the subject because we've got probably the most amazing email the Scoutcast has ever had, and we're going to talk about that. Just extraordinary stuff. So yeah, we're going to talk about that later on. But first, we're going to look at our game weeks. Then we're going to look at the community questions. There's not rough with the smooth, is there, John T? Because we kind of want to do away with game week 8. We're looking forward now. We're looking forward.
Yeah. Well, we're doing away with game week 7, but looking forward to game week 8.
Of course, yeah. Game week 7, of course. I'm a bit rusty after the international break. Who isn't?
Yes.
This is always the case. Yeah, we'll look back at game week 7 just briefly. We don't want to dwell on that. We want to look forward. We've got plenty of community questions. What are they asking us about tonight, John T?
Oh, all sorts of things. Ibrahimovic is back again. Last chance for him. Spurs or Arsenal. It's a bit of looking at their defenders. Stoke. Do we want to be investing in Stoke? We've got the stats boys in the house have been asking us about the stats. The fantasy football scouts been going stat mad this week. And also Payet. Why are we ignoring him? Yeah. But we'll find out later.
Yeah, we did a members article on Payet, and I've got to say the numbers in that were quite worrying. I don't plan to get him in anytime soon, but we'll talk about that later on. Let's touch on game week 7 then briefly. Let's go through and run in. It wasn't much to talk about really. I mean, I topped the pile, but only on 48. Theo Walcott got me that rather fortunate assist. I'm sure Granville's going to talk about the Koscielny goal in a minute. 48 I got. Andy, you came next on 44. Anything really to tell about the game week?
Yeah, no, it was almost like a football cliche weekend of two halves. Saturday was actually pretty good. Firmino did well, Lukaku, and then Holebas and Pickford picked up points without getting a clean sheet, which was great. And then into Sunday with all the big hitters, Ibra captain and absolutely nothing. So
yeah, the captains across the board let us down, didn't they? Unless you went with Firmino, you were kind of come out of it empty-handed. Sanchez with 3 was the biggest score. Granville, you came away with 35. You took a hit. You got a hard luck story as usual. Your injuries just piling up, aren't they?
I guess so. I mean, well, I had an injury to KDB, so I swapped him for Lallana, didn't I? So it's for an injured player to another injured player. I think the story of this week really was, low scores all round. There weren't many goals around again. A few clean sheets from the big hitters, from the expensive Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs defenders. So there weren't that many clean sheets to go around. It was a tough one and failed captaincy unless you had Firmino or Lukaku. I think my Sunday was actually a little bit better because I had Walcott for his dodgy assist. And also, I had Walker, who's actually done pretty well for me, and I'm quite happy with him. It's one of the better transfers I made.
Yeah, so, I mean, a decent game week. You only took a 4-point hit. A certain person took an 8-point hit. John T, tell us more.
Well, I've actually, I don't know what happened, but I managed to get, I believe, my worst ever score in 9 seasons.
Are you sure about that?
I can't remember. Well, so basically what I got 29, but I took 2 hits, so I got 21. And I can't remember getting less than 21.
What about your rank, though? What was your game week rank? Because that's what it's about.
It was really bad.
3 million?
About 3 million, yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell because over the years, obviously, more people have been playing FPL. But in terms of kind of points, it was bad. So basically, I took a double hit. I don't know what came over me. Basically, I'd had enough of Özil. I needed to get Sanchez in, so I really wanted that. I didn't want Baines, but I wanted to get another attacking defender. So I got Van Aanholt, who I wasn't actually. I was expecting to start and get a clean sheet. And he ends up getting benched and then scoring. And David Moyes is now saying he's so impressed with him, he's going to play him as a winger.
Maybe. I mean, when you saw Van Aanholt was on the bench, you must have thought, "Oh my god!"
No, because it followed, and I'll get to this. This is the real clincher. So bearing in mind, okay, my game week, if I'd have done nothing, I'd have got 32, which would have been a pretty bad week anyway. But so I decided to get rid of, and as part of this, following Granville, I got Lallana in for Firmino. So that's like almost like your worst case transfer scenario. You get rid of a high scoring player for someone who limps off injured, and it was actually even worse than that because I believe that Firmino's points were as a result of Lallana's injury. Because Firmino, as a false nine, is not really working as a fantasy prospect this season.
So as soon as he shifted, he got the goal.
And as soon as he shifted, and then Sturridge goes into the role where no fantasy points come, Firmino then goes. So it was a direct as a result. So it was, that was it. But it's one of those things. So at the end of it all, I've got Van Aanholt. I do like to have these kind of risky defenders for the cheap seats in my team, like Van Aanholt. So I quite like that. And I've got Sanchez in, happy. I've got Lallana, so we'll come to our transfers later in the episode. But if he's injured, then I don't know. I mean, I'm loath to get rid of him when he's just going in.
What's extraordinary was, I remember the last episode you mentioned the midfield template and it completely rattled me and I was like, oh. And then I got Walcott in shortly after that and I thought, oh, that's Joe's mind game. He's working on me. I've gone for Walcott because he's only my 4%. And I was like, oh, Jonty's tricked me completely. He's made me get Walcott. He knows what he's doing. And then when I saw you took 8-point hit, I thought, oh, actually, what's going on here? Has he come out of the Scoutcast not knowing what he's doing as well? And
what the reason is because I had the reverse. So you had the template. You still got the template because Walcott second most transferred in the top 10,000.
He's done it again. Tell him, Granville. Tell him.
Fifth most transferred in overall. But so you got the template and you're denying the template. And I'm looking at your template going, I want that template. And I'm looking at that because of Sanchez. Sanchez is so good at the moment in that striker role, and Özil is by far. It's like the old Bill Hicks thing about the greatest armies in the world. You got the Russians, the Americans, and then way down in third is the Iraqi army. And this is like this. You got Sanchez, you got Walcott, and then way down there you've got Özil. And Özil is just not working.
He's just not getting.
It's just not working as a fantasy player. As a real life player, he's great. He's working really well with us.
He had a poor game though. He had a poor game.
But Sanchez had a great game, and so it's just one of those weeks where the injury. But I've sunk. I can challenge myself now to get less than 21 because I can't believe I'll get less than that.
Thing is, you've done some surgery on your team, and it's only up from here. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. But before I do the next bit, then this is the extraordinary tale. This bit. So we've got to introduce the concept of Jason Puncheon because if you haven't been listening to the Scoutcast previously, and Granville, you mixed a couple. Jonty, tell us about Puncheon. You got on the bandwagon, so to speak, on the very tiny Jason Puncheon bandwagon. I've been making fun, haven't I, Jonty?
It's basically, it's not even a bandwagon. It's basically a wheelbarrow with Jason Puncheon in it and me pushing it around. And that's it, really. And there's about another 4 people probably got him in as well. But he's topping the corner takers, topping the chance creators, and he's had a couple of assists, and we always think he's going to get some more. So
and I've been mocking.
It became a bit of a joke because it's Jason Puncheon. But then you sent me a text over the weekend. Which
so
what was
interesting is my son is only 4 years old. Has started getting into these little football figures, and he goes to the shop with me, and he's been nagging me to buy them. And I was like, waste of money. You don't want them. You won't know who the players are. Anyway, I went to work and Gran took him to the shop and apparently I got a text from my partner saying, oh, he's got a couple of football characters and he said they are. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll come back and try and explain who they are. So the first one he got was this one here, which is Zinedine Zidane. And I had a look at the a bit of a lie. There we go. Zinedine Zidane as a manager. Now, the series that he bought were called The Elite, and there's 35 in the pack. 35 to collect. Zinedine Zidane, fair enough, he's the elite. And then I said to him, what was the other one you got? And then he showed me this.
No.
And I was like, what the hell? No. And you can't see the writing, but it has got Puncheon on the base. So I got home from work, and there, staring at me on the table, was Jason Puncheon in miniature form. Apparently one of the 35 elite players in his pack. So I think there's something rather worrying about that. I've got this effigy of Jason Puncheon now in my house, haunting me. I honestly, shivers went down my spine when I saw that. I was like, what is going on here?
Do you think Jonty is actually part of the... He must have something to do with that company, surely, Jonty.
I don't get it.
Well, there must be. You must have something to do with this.
What are the chances of all the players in all the packets in that shop?
Well, it's like I'm really worried if there's any voodoo going on, because if Jason Puncheon suddenly in the middle of the game is about to take one of his amazing corners or free kick, suddenly coaches his heart, you're back home with your needle in him.
I'll try anything. Yeah, anything to get ahead. I just don't know. But anyway, he's grinning at me right now. I'll leave him there watching.
I'd worry if the next one you got was Van Arnold or something.
Yeah, slowly but surely, I'm getting Jonty's team. Amazing. Let's get on to another incredible incident that happened only this morning. This is the 200th episode, and I sent an email to all of you going, I wonder if Compo and the Last of Summer Wine crowd are worried. Because, Granville, tell the story. Back in the day when we first started the Scoutcast, episode 1, we mentioned, didn't we? Last of Summer Wine was our target because they'd made 295 episodes. And we said, didn't we, whether we could beat that.
That's absolutely. I'm not sure we did it straight away. I think after a few, we've started talking about it. So we need to keep these going. We need to beat Last of the Summer Wine. And I couldn't believe that. I think you researched it, and I think it was maybe before the time of Wikipedia. Who knows? I'm sure you said there was about 300 episodes. I'm like, no.
It's 295.
No, I know. It's on for a long, long time. But 300 episodes, are you sure? We checked it out, and it was true.
Yeah, so ever since then, we have, hands up, taken the mickey a bit at Last of Summer Wine. My personal opinion is that it did go on a bit too long, and perhaps it got a bit stale, shall we say. So we have, in previous episodes, taken the mickey a bit and referred to Last of Summer Wine, and we're going on about the 3 or 4 running themes throughout the series. And it turns out that one of our listeners has been listening in, and is related to someone who was associated with Last of Summer Wine. And this morning, the morning of the 200th episode, I got an email from who can only be described as someone who is a legend of 70s and 80s sitcoms. I knew the name when I saw it. He's not on camera, but he's behind the scenes. But I knew the name because he has won BAFTAs and whatever. And he worked on 3 series of Last of Summer Wine, and he respectfully said, "Can you talk about Last of Summer Wine with a bit more respect, because there are fans of the show." And it was a wonderful email. It was so polite. It was such a lovely, well-written email. But one thing I have got to laugh at, and I couldn't help but laugh out, was this line, because I do apologise, but I've got to read this line out because it is hilarious. He basically says, "We appreciate, however, it takes longer to produce and direct and edit a TV show than it does for 4 teenagers to sit around and talk about football." That is just comedy gold. 4 teenagers.
At heart, maybe at heart.
Yeah. Were we? The question is, were we teenagers when we started this?
It's just brilliant.
What really gets me, I mean, I looked at his filmography, and down there, halfway down, is Open All Hours, 25 episodes. I mean, that's just completely come full circle.
It's incredible. This man has worked on some of my favourite ever TV programmes. He has worked with the legends of comedy who are my heroes, Ronnie Barker, David Jason. Incredible TV. I'm honoured that he would even email me, to take the time out to email me on the morning of our 200th episode, standing up for Last of the Summer Wine, who we have poked fun. And, thank you very much for the email. If your grandson is watching, I will send an email back and apologise. I've already said one, and we have to be more respectful, Granville.
One thing that I vow to do is that when we get to that 295th episode, it will happen, I think now. When we get to that 295th episode, we're going to come on with barbers and wellies and cloth. You've got a cloth cap.
Yes.
And we're going to do it. Absolutely.
Jonty, you're keeping quiet on this. What's your thoughts on this? Incredible, isn't it?
I think it's amazing. This guy is. I mean, have you named him?
I don't know. I don't know if we should name him or not. I mean,
this guy's a legend. I'm going to name him because I think he should be named because people should know that this guy has been behind the scenes for about 20 or 30 years, longer in TV comedy. He's called Sidney Lotterby, and he's won 4 BAFTAs, and he's been nominated for BAFTAs 11 times. He's produced and directed, as Marcus said, absolute comedy gold. He's even had a sketch by John Cleese named after him.
Yeah,
he's absolute comedy gold.
So his grandson could be listening to this,
and absolutely, yeah, as you said, we have a huge respect for him, and we have huge respect for Last of the Summer Wine as well. I mean, it did go on for slightly too long, but I'm sure the 3 series that Sydney was involved in were absolutely magic.
Yeah,
I think that's absolutely great. That he's even heard of us. And
I know, it's amazing. He knew we're on the 200th episode, so I don't know whether he's listening now or whether he will listen. Thanks very much for calling us teenagers. Teenagers, Andy, you're the nearest to being a teenager, aren't you? You're only a little bit off.
Yeah, I think even I can't get away with that these days. So yeah, I think that was quite funny when I read that and I pictured you 3 sat there.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was, and I will respond again to Sydney, and thank you very much for the email, and thank you very much to his grandson for listening, and we will bear this in mind from now on when we talk about Last of Summer Wine. If we dare to compare it to this nonsense that we do, we will be more respectful. Sydney is a fancy football scout legend from this point on. Incredible. Amazing. I'm humbled. Put in my place, as it says in my caption. Should we talk about the football now? Community questions, Jonty.
Yeah, over to London and North London. Spurs or Arsenal? The reason we're all interested is because the fixtures are particularly good for Arsenal, but suddenly these defenders are starting to get the points in. So you've got Koscielny scoring, you've got Bellerin racking up clean sheets, looking promising for assists. You've got Walker, and then you've got my mate Toby A for Spurs, who is racking up the attacking stats there. So he's looking goal imminent indeed there. So we've got quite a few questions here, so I'll rattle through some of them and then we can come to them. So Sesk's old mullet asks, Son or Walcott? So he's going for the mid-price midfield gems in either of them there. SS says, why aren't we considering Bellerin instead of Walcott? It's 1.2 cheaper, and you get clean sheet points as well, or more clean sheet points. And then Sminky Pinky is so enamoured by Theo Walcott. He thinks, is he actually a better captaincy pick than Sanchez?
Granville's got Walcott now. I didn't realise this.
Yeah.
So what was your thinking there?
Well, I wasn't on the Scoutcast the last 2 weeks, so it's an independent thought, Mark. I wasn't there for the chaos of you went there for guidance. Let me see. Walcott, basically, because I've got Cazorla, and he did well for me the first 3 weeks, got a couple of penalties, and then since then, nothing. So I hate swapping out one midfielder for another midfielder, the same team. I know Jonty did that this week with Ozil to Sanchez, but I just hate doing it. So I always like to do this in kind of parallel steps. So I think I'm probably going to get rid of Cazorla at some point. But no, Walcott, because he's playing up front and he's amongst the goals. I think he's best. I think he's actually, in terms of value, I think he's way ahead of Sanchez. I know Sanchez is he's quite explosive and he's good captaincy material. Maybe Walcott isn't so much. But I guess for the same reasons as you got him, he's piling on the stats.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And but Son or Walcott, Andy, do you want to take this one? This is a tough choice, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean they're very similar. I think people still have doubts over the kind of how long they're going to stay in the team. But right now, at least in the short term, over the next 2 or 3 games, it looks like they're both pretty much nailed on. So I'm likely to bring one of these two in this week, and I think it'll be Walcott just because I think their fixtures are better. Like Granville said, value-wise, he's doing so well compared to Sanchez for nearly, was it 4 million less or 3.5 million less?
3.6 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, stats-wise, they're both doing really well. I think if you go for either, it's a good pick. Mine would be Walcott, but there's so little in it. So do you have Walcott, Mark, or is it just us two that don't have
Yeah,
him?
no, I have Walcott.
Oh, you have him, yeah, you got him as well, yeah. So
I backtracked on him straight away, having said that. Oh no chance. I got it the week after, completely backpedaled. Son is intriguing though. I'm worried about Son. John T, does he scare you?
No, not particularly. There's so many players in that bracket. Like Walcott, you've got all the Liverpool ones, all the Liverpool midfielders. You've also got Son, you've got Sterling as well. So in that kind of 7 to 8-ish price bracket, you've got quite a lot. And then we'll come to Payet later. So if you want to spend a bit more, you've got them. And then KDB is going to be coming back. So once again, we're back in that situation. You've got about 10 players. It'd be good to have. So he in particular doesn't particularly worry me. There will be people with him, and I may get him, I might not. But the fixtures are quite good. You've got West Brom away, Bournemouth away. Bournemouth are proving quite good at home.
2 consecutive clean sheets at home.
And then they got Leicester at home. So Leicester are really bad at travelling at the moment, so that could be good. And then Arsenal, that's a who knows what can happen. And then you've got West Ham at home. So they're okay, the fixtures, but they don't fill me with. I don't look at them. Different prospect with Stoke, but we'll come to Stoke's fixtures a bit later. But when you look at Stoke's fixtures, you go, wow. But so Son doesn't really kind of massively stand out, but he's obviously a great option. And if you've got the money, I would.
He's a monster, isn't he? He's been producing.
Yeah, I mean the rumours that are coming out at the moment regarding Harry Kane coming back, they're targeting him coming back for the Arsenal game. So I think there's at least 3 more. I mean, Son will probably play with Kane, but Son will play in that advanced position for at least 3 games. So yeah that's pretty good going.
I'll say he worries me a little bit. I've gone Walcott. I'll stick by that. It's 2 Arsenal. I'm loaded up on Arsenal for their 3 forthcoming favourable fixtures. I'm happy with that because it's Swansea, Middlesbrough and Sunderland. I think there's goals there. I find the Bellerin question is interesting because Toby Alderweireld is really interesting me because of he's got to score. He scored for Belgium in the week, and I looked at the corner stats for Spurs, and they've won the most corners in the league. Looking at who goes up for corners, Vertonghen hasn't got a single touch in the penalty box. So Alderweireld is the only real threat in that box, other when Kane's not playing. So I just think his goals are coming, and he could end up with 5, 6, 7, 8. He could do what Dan's already doing or threatening to do. So yeah, Alderweireld is something I want to get in my team quickly, but the 4 in 6 away worries me. Bellerin, anyone want to talk about Bellerin and the option there?
Well, it's just price. It's price. I think. Price. It's very pricey, especially when you've got other players in that kind. Well, Scott Dan's about to be coming back, so I would say he's fixture proof, as in a big defender at a set piece can score against anyone. And especially a lot of the top teams are actually conceding a lot. Liverpool is still conceding the odd
especially
goals.
with this man throwing the ball in.
You've got Jason Puncheon there. Anything can happen. So I mean, I said we had a burning question article on this week, and when I was looking into it, there were 2 players that kind of stood out for me. One was actually Manchester United's Daley Blind. He is absolute monster at picking up bonus points. He looks pretty cemented at left back while Shaw's out. I don't know if Shaw's going to get back in.
But he was only out with illness, wasn't he? But you're right. I don't think
he'll get back in. But he is absolutely. There's only 2 players who've got more in FPL's bonus point system than Daley Blind, which is James Milner, because he keeps getting all these penalties, and Kevin De Bruyne, who's just amazing across the board. So I think he looks absolutely excellent value. Possibly not for the next week or 2. But we'll soon know if he's keeping Shaw out, get him. And Kyle Walker's the other one. I'm absolutely kicking myself. Game week 1, when I saw Kyle Walker at 5.5 and Rose at 6, I just thought, okay, is this like an open goal by FPL to entice me in? Do they know something I don't know about Kyle Walker? But he was well. He's
because he had such a strong Euros, didn't he?
He's no longer 5.5. And I kick myself for not getting him in.
I think Toby now 0.6 more expensive, and Alderweireld is close to a drop as well.
Yeah.
I think he's going to want that extra 0.6 though. He's the one I'm going for. It will take me weeks to get him, and I wonder whether he's going to just go mad before I get a chance to get him in. Granville, you were going to say?
You pick Alderweireld ahead of Walker.
Yeah.
I think Walker is always good for bonus points as well. I think that's. Yeah. I think if you've got 6 million, you're not going to wait another week to get another 500,000 to get Alderweireld. I'd just go for Walker in that position.
Yeah.
I think the other thing as well is that Bellerin is just his price is really off-putting. I'd quite like him, but 6.5 more than Walker. Same price as Alderweireld. No, not convinced really. I'm not sure at the minute. And the other option is Koscielny. Well, he hasn't had that many shots at goal. He's not compared to some of the other defenders.
Handy in the box, quite literally.
Well, he has. Oh yeah, handy. Yeah, of course. Because of course that was a little bit lucky, wasn't
That was
it?
from the last of someone scriptwriter, that one.
Yeah, I missed that one. Tumbleweed went past. Yeah, and the other one, Monreal, is always interesting because he can pick up the bonus point or two as well. It's just, the thing is, are you going to get any assists off him? I don't know, for some reason he doesn't seem to get as...
I think he's the worst.
Yeah, but he's also the cheapest, out of those defenders, so...
I don't know. I've set my heart on Alderweireld now. I'm silly, aren't I? I'm channel. I've just got tunnel vision with him. So
I think they're all much of a muchness in terms of Bellerin will get assists. I mean, look, he's got 21 crosses this season already. That's going to be assists, and he's obviously going to get the clean sheets. So Bellerin's going to get them. Toby A is going to be getting. He's going to be getting a few goals, and Koscielny is going to get 1 or 2 more goals. People are getting a bit carried away with Koscielny because, as Granville pointed out, he's had 2 shots inside the box, 2 on target. That's it all season. So this is not a player that's going to be scoring 30 goals a season. So I don't know. People are going a bit overboard on Koscielny, but there's a goal scoring threat.
It's interesting what you said about Blind actually, because he's played the last 2 games at left back and picked up 4 bonus points and not had a clean sheet. I know he got a couple of assists, didn't he, in the game against Leicester, but.
It's just the key passes, isn't it? I think he's got 8 key passes in the last.
He's an absolute monster for the bonus point system in FPL. And we saw it last season, but because he was playing in defence, but he was listed as a midfielder, no one bothered with him because he wasn't getting those clean sheet points. But if he's going to be getting them when their fixtures get better, if he's still there, I'm definitely going to get him in. He looks amazing.
MR96, we'll answer this quickly. Is Sanchez going to play after the international break? He got rested last time, didn't he, against Southampton? I don't think there's any danger of this now. I just don't see it. Because they struggled to beat the Southampton, didn't they? So Swansea with Bob Bradley, I think Brentford's going to be worried. So
Giroud's going to still be out. The last time they had I think it was a Tuesday night match against Paris Saint-Germain. So they've got a Wednesday night match against some unpronounceable team from Bulgaria that no one's ever heard of. So if you're going to rest Sanchez, you're going to rest him for the Bulgarian one.
People in Bulgaria must know.
Obviously in Bulgaria they're absolutely massive, but in the rest of the universe they're absolutely nothing. They're like Gibraltar. So
you're going to get an email from
Bulgaria.
I have been manager of Ludogorets, Bulgaria for 19 years.
You disrespect our club.
You invite it on us. It's like unbelievable. Okay, let's move on. Ibrahimovic. Have we got more to say about Ibrahimovic?
Yeah. Well, okay. So the saga of Ibrahimovic is that some people like me and 50% of other. And Granville as well, perhaps, and Andy.
I haven't.
But Mark very wisely got rid of him. So anyone who's still left with him is always left with this. Oh no, when do I get rid of him?
I did say, didn't I?
I know, and it is true. It's true.
It's scary, isn't it? You don't want to do it.
Shrimpy says, "Is it worth keeping Ibrahimovic given he plays Liverpool and Chelsea?" FPL Virgin Us has Ibrahimovic had enough chances, and President Giggs quite rightly. President Giggs quite rightly points out my goals imminent table because this is worrying. Can you really justify getting rid of him? Because so I'll tell you why he's saying that. Because it's unbelievable. I don't know how he's not scoring when I read these out. He's over the last 4 league matches, had 26 goal attempts. He's had 9 shots on target, and he's had 16 inside the box. So he's in proximity. He's on target. He's no wimp. So they're of a force. But then you look. So we did an article on site about this goals imminent. So how can we tweak it? And I think it was Baines on Toast, one of our posters, said have a look at big chances missed. And then so I did, and then keyed that in. So he's missed more chances than anyone, more big chances than anyone else. So at the key moment, he's fluffing it. So is this? Could we dare say that Ibrahimovic has a crisis of confidence, or is it something else? Who knows?
Is it possible?
But the reason I say that because it is improbable. Because when I read out those stats, it's improbable, and they're so improbable So I was looking at that. So I've seen 26 goal attempts in the goals imminent table, which is over a 4-week period. You don't really see those stats often, but I do remember a time when I did see those stats, and it was back in 2013 with a young chap called Luis Suarez, who topped the goals imminent table, and I had to look back. So I'm thinking,
back in episode 120,
can I dare compare Ibrahimovic at age 35 to in his prime Suarez at Liverpool? So I had to look back. So I compared Ibrahimovic this season to Suarez in that season where he got about 30 goals. Ibrahimovic, 9.9 penalty area touches. Suarez, 10. Barely any difference. Ibrahimovic, 5.4 goal attempts a game on average. Suarez, 5.5. So they're pretty much the same. So he's banging But this is it. The third stat tells us why we need to be a bit wary. Suarez that season, 44.8% of his shots were on target. Ibrahimovic, 34. Massive drop off.
Well, I think that's because Ibra's chances are coming in the air in the majority of them, aren't they? Whereas Suarez is on the floor.
But what I'm saying is the reason that people are asking, can you get rid of him when you get rid of him? Because it's not just that he's trundling along with his stats and not scoring. He's posting Suarez, not 2013 stats, but not scoring.
If your goals imminent table, if you stand by that at all, you can't possibly sell him. Otherwise, you're ripping it up. You're going against.
Well, that's what people are saying. But as we were talking about the goals imminent table, perhaps it should be renamed. There's always hope.
I've got some names for it.
No,
there's always hope table.
It's what I do to Mark. I play a lot of 9 games, and that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing there, John T. And I fully support you. I can see. I'm just looking at Mark now. He looks a little bit worried.
Well, I'm not worried at all. I'm more worried about Bulgaria and what they're going to do. But yeah, no, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Well, it's all interesting. I don't know. Are you going to get rid of him? Yes or no, John T?
Well, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, after last week, I didn't know what I was going to do, and then I ended up with an 8-point hit. Come Friday evening, I don't know what I'm going to do. To be honest,
this is really unlike John T.
I'm either going to do one or two things.
Over the shop.
I'm going to do one or two things. One is absolutely nothing, and then I got 2 free transfers, and I can go into the next week, and I'll probably get rid of him. But because at the moment, I think he's just too much for someone who's not delivering. I don't know. I might do something a bit odd and get something.
You did that last week.
Yeah, get Deeney. The thing is, I think we talk about Jason Puncheon. Long term, I don't want to keep Benteke and Puncheon. So I think I'm going to get rid of Puncheon at some point. So I think not this week, but the following week, I'll be looking at Ibrahimovic and Puncheon out for a really good midfielder and another striker.
I've got to say though, John T, I've never known. I think because there's no template this year.
Yeah, there's no.
I think you are lost completely.
I've lost.
You are all over the place.
Yeah. I'm just wandering in the fog. I don't know what's going on.
These are just noises. These are just noises.
I hear noises, and it's like a Swedish bloke saying 26 goal attempts, and all of these things, and I don't know what I'm doing. And then Costa's like shouting at me, saying, "Look at all my goals."
Andy, come on, talk to him. You're a United fan as well as Granville. What should he do with Ibra? Come on.
Well, I got him as well. I want someone else. I don't want to wish injuries on anyone, but if someone else could get flagged so that I can keep Ibra and take the decision out of my hands, that'd be great. I know I should get rid of him, but it's like you said a few episodes ago. I just can't. He's going to score. He is going to score. It's a matter of time.
He also won't get injured.
Sorry.
He won't get injured. He's made a brick out house.
So he is going to score. Obviously, the question is, which we'd all love to know, is when is that going to happen?
He's going to score again. I put money on that.
But he should have scored against Stoke. The chance in 3 minutes. There's whatever reason he went near post. That just seemed like such an easy shot past far post. Yeah, I think I'm more siding to getting rid because I'd like to get Walcott in. I'd also like, going back to the previous question, I'd like to get someone like Bellerin or Koscielny in as well and just kind of start bolstering my defence up. And he's not worth 11.5 million right now. But it's tough, and anyone who's got him, I wish I could tell you the answer. I think it's such a tough one, and I think you can be right either way. But you could get punished. Liverpool and Chelsea, yes, they're conceding, but they're going to be tough games, all right?
You could get punished, but the way I look at it is, unless you're going to captain him,
which I'm not.
You've got to back yourself to get somebody in who can the equivalent.
Well, we did captain him last week.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but going forward now, that's even harder, especially now. It was easy last week where I had Spurs, I suppose, or a bit easier. But going forward, Burnley in game week, whatever it is.
Yeah, but don't look at that. Just look at the next two, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think the value. Okay, stats. There's been a lot of stats on the site this week, and there's a new community member who's churning out stat-based spreadsheet. Is this someone you've invented, Jonty? Or
no, he's real. I don't believe that's his real name. Mr. and Mrs. Sheet. It's a boy. Let's call him Spreadsheet. So,
no.
But basically, he's been churning out some really good articles, and he's been looking at things like points per 90 minutes. And one of the things he was looking at was an article we had about a year ago by a poster called Raki, who was trying to discover what is the best indicator of potential goals. And the conclusion that he came to was that it was shots on target. So we look at lots of different things, and it's shots on target, and then with a caveat of these big chances. And so Spreadsheet's looked at that, and he's kind of honed it a little bit. And he's also been looking at not just shots on target, but chances as well. So minutes per chance, and how quick they are. So that's good as well, because that gets in the players that are getting the assists, but might not be racking up those kind of goal-scoring opportunities so much. So using that rationale, so Spreadsheets ask us is which we favour. So I'm going to just agree with him. He put forward a good case, and it was, there's a table I have called One Stat to Rule Them All, which is based on Raki's article, and that was always based on shots on target. Look at the last 4 game weeks, shots on target. Lukaku's top, and I think Lukaku will continue to score. Ibrahimovic is second. So then we have to look at these big chances missed. But then he's looked at minutes per chance, and then the names get really interesting. I think Payet, who we're going to discuss, De Bruyne, last 4 game weeks assists, Willian, who was my fantasy island pick, who delivered as well, and then you've got Sanchez, and you've got players like Tadic and Coutinho, Firmino as well. So this is a good guide. Because all of those players I mentioned are going to get lots of assists over the coming weeks, so they're going to get points. So that's what I would do. It's a classic thing, really. Midfielders.
I always look at a mix of stats. I don't tend to obsess about one in particular. I'll use the stats tables and narrow it down bit by bit. Obviously, shots on target. I look at touches in the box because they get in the box more often, and if you're in the box, you're more likely to score. And conversion rate, I guess, to assess whether they're confident and getting the ball on target or not. There's so many, isn't there, to absorb. But shot on target is the go-to stat normally. Yeah, I agree with that. And and team stats have a lot to do with it as well, because you can be a striker in form, but you need to get fed opportunities. And it's tricky using stats at all to kind of decipher it and just obsessing about one, because you're going to get yourself in trouble. I think you've got to look at a multitude of them and still take in opinion and still take in all kinds of other factors as well. Stats aren't the silver bullet, but they are useful. Granville, what's your view on it?
No, I totally agree. I'm just looking at my stats for Callum Wilson, because he's been an under the radar forward pick, for your third forward. And he's really good at shots on target. He doesn't get that many shots because he's playing for Bournemouth, and that's the difficulty.
I think he scored 7 goals from 13 shots on target in the Premier League.
Well, that's pretty good by anyone's standards, especially when you compare him to Ibra at 5 million more. We've spoken about this so many times, haven't we? How useful are stats, and can you be guided by them? Is it better to watch the games and judge for yourself who's going to score? And then there's obviously the fixtures as well, because stats can be skewed by fixtures, depending on how tough the team's fixtures have been. So take them with a pinch of salt at times.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Andy, yourself, none of us are in the same realms as Jonty when it comes to stats, but do you go to them regularly?
I do more now. I never used to. I used to kind of be more of a watch the game and just pick on instinct, maybe look at what they've been doing over the last few weeks and check fixtures from there. But last year I actually got into expected goals and stuff. So reading up more about how, the quality of the shots, etc., shots on target, like you mentioned, just to see going forward. And I've been using that more this year. So I remember looking at Sterling after the first game and saying, well, he's had so many penalty area touches, surely points are coming. He'd already got the assist in game 1. That worked out well. Obviously, we looked at Kapui as well. see that his stats weren't going to keep up. So I'm using them more and more. I'm actually not watching as much football this year. I just haven't had the time, and I feel like I'm doing worse because of that. So I think a mixture of both, really.
Yeah,
you can't have one without the other, because sometimes shots are misleading. Sometimes, obviously, shots are said, but sometimes you see, like Coutinho, for example, in past seasons, it's great that he has so many shots, but when they're from outside the box, they're never going to go in as often. So, yeah, I think a bit of both for me.
It's funny, though, because we've seen Simon March win a couple of seasons ago, and he didn't watch any football at all. We just use stats and projections and reports, and so it's everyone's got their own solutions. There's no one right answer. I love using stats because I just enjoy perusing them. I'm sure Jonty does too, but it's not a silver bullet. Payet and Antonio, Jonty.
Yeah, well, I mean, both of them figure in both of the types of stats we mentioned. So FPL Virgin asks, with 30 points in his last 4 games, why isn't Payet in our teams? Good question. And Fenton answers very similar and adds in that he's been doing well for France as well this week, which obviously builds his confidence up. What does he have to do to join the template? And then Sam UFC asks, what about Antonio, though? Do we ditch him for the other bandwagons like Walcott and Son or King? Well, I mean, Payet, we mentioned there, look at last 4 game weeks, minutes per chance, he's right up there. But plus, he's had 17 goal attempts, not many on target, though. But that's because he shoots from range a lot. So he's only had 6 shots inside the box, 17 goal attempts. And this is the value of stats sometimes. It just tells you various things like, yes, he's getting lots of goal attempts, but don't expect lots of goals, but perhaps expect lots of assists, which of course he's been delivering. But then you look, who's he going to be assisting? It's Antonio. It's going to be Antonio, really. He's up there, seven shots on target, so he's just below Lukaku and Ibrahimovic. He's had 22 goal attempts last 4 games. So, he's really going for it. And they're against Crystal Palace with no clean sheets. So I think both of those players are going to kind of come away with returns.
See, I got rid of Antonio last week for Walcott. And it's against a lot of what I normally go on, which is stats as well. I've got rid of Ibrahimovic, who's got great stats, but I went against that and that worked out. I went without Antonio. I got away with it for 1 week. I might not get away with it for the weeks to come. He might punish me. But I don't know. I just worry about West Ham's form, and Payet is an enigma. He's in that team at the moment. He's incredible. Obviously, he was incredible last season, but he stands out even more this season because West Ham have been in bad form. I am worried about Payet. I'm not so worried about Antonio. I just think that he's not a striker. He's not going to play up front next time out. I don't see. Zaza will come back, if not next week, the week after. I'm a Forest fan, so I've seen Antonio play up front. It doesn't work. He needs space. He needs a channel to run into. He's not good with back to goal.
Plus,
it just doesn't work.
Has he not been he's been shunted back as well, hasn't he, to right back? Which obviously and that's happened a few times.
I think they're going to do that. If they're chasing a game, they'll move into right back and bring another attacker on, won't they?
I think the thing is with Payet is that class always shines through in the end. And just because, he hasn't had as good a start as Antonio in terms of point scoring, but I fully expect him to outscore him by the end of the season, and to outscore a lot of midfielders. But it's a classic case of, are you going to get better value with Antonio? He's 2.5 million cheaper, or he was. It's the same dilemma that I had a few weeks ago when I chose De Bruyne over Sterling. I just think sometimes you need to find players who are going to guarantee you points rather than ones who are just in form. I don't know about Antonio at the minute. He's obviously not done much in the last couple of weeks, but he's bound to score goals because he's got Payet in the team.
Andy, your views on Antonio?
Yeah, I mean, I've got him. I do want to bring in Walcott, like you said. That was your move. I just think Palace away and Sunderland home, I'm going to keep because I just think there's potential points there. I'm not in a rush to get rid of him, but after those two, if he's still not performing, and like you said, the worry is West Ham's form, and it's a bit similar to Ibra actually, in that he's got the stats, but United aren't really clicking. So I'm willing to give him another 2 games, but I don't think you can argue with anyone that wants to bring in Walcott or Son for them. And Payet, he's just at an awkward price. We've got Firmino and Sterling, so he's an extra $1 million. And if you want to drop someone like Sanchez, we're just not going to do that right now. So I actually said Payet at the start of the season was probably a little overpriced, and I think he's going to make me regret that. But right now, he's just at an awkward price to bring in, I think.
Jonty, you're a bit of a desperate man at the moment. You looking at Payet?
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I don't mind switching as well. But I wouldn't have Payet and Antonio, I don't think. But I would switch Antonio to Payet. I think that's possible, and that's something I might indeed do next week with my Ibrahimovic cash.
Really?
Yeah.
Name the cards on the table.
Well, I don't know if I'll do it this week or next week, but it's just that price. It's Ibrahimovic's price. If you've got Aguero on your side and you've got Sanchez, then having Ibrahimovic really does cost you elsewhere. And it'd be nice to have some a bit more weight in my midfield and to get perhaps upgrade a defender.
It's like I said, there's scope, isn't there? Like if you get Ibrahimovic, you can then start rotating players like Payet. With the Liverpool midfielder, you can get Mane for a couple of weeks, Payet for a couple of weeks, and if you hit the top, if you hit the spot with those and you get their holes, you're laughing. But
I mean, there's great fixtures coming up as well, and I mean, I just think looking at those fixtures and that Ibrahimovic money does go a long way. There's so many options in that slightly more expensive bracket, and there's not that many. I can have a little punt on for a few weeks with Jason Puncheon, but there's not a lot. There's not like last season. There's no kind of Ali or Mahrez, in that kind of really cheap price bracket. You've got to spend. You've got to spend to get a bit of quality.
Okay, Manchester City, Interista asks Manchester City.
Yes, KTK Interista asks, is Sterling a rotation risk with key Champions League games coming up? He's referring to the Barcelona game. And with Sané and Nolito proving very worthy replacements. And I reckon Gilbert asks, how do we fit KDB in? There are rumours that KDB could be looking at either a start or some kind of bench role this weekend. I suspect possibly a bench role with Barcelona next, but nevertheless, he looks like he's coming back soon. I mean, I don't have any other Manchester City cover apart from Aguero. They're looking amazing at times when KDB plays. So, I'd be... Once again, if I don't get Payet in, I might be looking at either KDB, possibly Sterling, but KDB certainly appeals a bit more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Sterling. There is a rotation risk clearly because they got United in the FL Cup as well. But it's the two Barcelona ties that are really worrying, and they've got fixtures which you look at them and think, well, they can win them without Sterling. Middlesbrough at home, West Brom away, Burnley, Palace away. It could be on the cards, and it is a fear for me. But I just think Sterling has become so integral to the way Pep plays now. I think he'll be okay. I think I'll probably lose one game. I think he'll get rested for one, but I think I'm going to hold. Granville, your view on that?
Yeah, well, with De Bruyne, I think it's been proven how vital he is to the team. And you look at how they played the last couple of games, particularly against Spurs. They really, really miss him. I think he's going to play every game. And so you compare that to what you can get out of Sterling, 2 million difference in price. Is De Bruyne going to outscore Sterling? I don't know. And is Sterling going to get rotated? Well, I don't know. We speculate a lot about players who get rotated around Champions League time. I'm not. I think it is really guesswork. I think what you'll get probably with Sterling is that you'll get an early withdrawal. On 70 minutes or something. Especially if City are coasting at that point, he'll be the one to give way. Whereas De Bruyne, I think he's going to play all the games. Then the only issue with De Bruyne is that he does seem to pick up injuries. He's last two seasons he's picked up injuries.
And playing in that central role is more intense for him, I guess. But he's into. I think you're right. KDB now. I mean, they've lost at Spurs, so Pep won't want to lose any more ground as well. So he's going to look at those games and go, "Yes, we can win." With a rested and rotated team. I think he's going to be more wary now. Spurs are breathing down their necks.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And they've got to win though. There's no such thing as a gimme in this league. No, and I think City are going to have at some point they're going to have a bad run. There was talk, like last week that they were going to go unbeaten the whole season. It was like last season, but this doesn't happen. They're going to come unstuck against some teams. So they've got a reasonable run at the minute. They've got a couple of home games coming up.
Yeah, their fixtures are very, very strong. Everton and Southampton next, which they're going to have to play strong teams to win those games. It's just after that, it's around the Barcelona tie or the second Barcelona tie that's a worry. So, Stoke and Southampton.
Yeah, well, I've kind of combined these two because they're kind of classic form versus fixtures. So Stoke have no form but great fixtures, and Southampton have great form but terrible fixtures. So let's have a look at those. So Stoke have got Sunderland at home, Hull away, Swansea, and then West Ham, Bournemouth, Watford, Burnley. I mean, that's an amazing run. I mean, very rarely see that. And then Southampton, well, they've got Burnley at home, but then it gets terrible. They've got Man City away, Chelsea, Hull, that's okay. Then Liverpool, Everton, and then it gets a bit better with Crystal Palace and Middlesbrough there. So they've got that terrible kind of run of games coming up. So yeah, it's a classic form v fixtures, asks individual. Stoke ultimate form v fixtures debate there. So which to go for? Now, Andy, I think, is perhaps the only one of us with a Stoke player in his side.
Which one have you got?
Yeah, I'm way ahead of the curve on this.
So this is Andy. Andy to go first on this one.
Yeah, so I had obviously my wildcard last week or the week before, and I started looking at the fixtures in advance and rotation defence. So I have Glenn Johnson, who is yellow flagged.
Maverick.
Yellow flagged, yeah. I just think, I know, like, obviously you look at form, but I just think for 4.8 million, when we have defenders who aren't keeping clean sheets anyway, I'm just targeting the fixtures really and hoping that they turn it around while no one else is looking at them. I just think I haven't got much to lose at 4.8 million. Now he is yellow flagged, so he might have a problem there. But I think you could do much worse than getting a Stoke player right now. Just
I'm looking at Peters at 4-4. It's just I've got Defoe against him on the weekend, so I don't like having a striker against my defender. And I think Sunderland can score goals. I think they're creating chances. It's tricky, isn't it? But Stoke did this last year. They went on a great run, didn't they? And Butland just stood out in that spell, and I think they kept 5 or 6 clean sheets in a matter of 8 or 9 games. So it could happen. It really could, and it's worth a gamble perhaps. But Southampton are funny though. I mean, Southampton's defence, we all want to invest, but we're looking at the fixtures. And I've looked going forward. They don't really have a good spell, do they, Jonty? Anywhere in the season where you go, that's when I'm going to invest.
No, you don't. But I mean, their defenders are doing so well at the moment. But I can't see them keeping a clean sheet against Man City. I can't see them keeping a clean sheet against Chelsea. So that's 2 of the next 4. Burnley, I think, is pretty much a gimme for a clean sheet. So I think if you want a short-term punt, then definitely get a Southampton defender in. But I mean, again, so I think Charlie Austin is worth getting, but I just think there are probably better options. The players with better fixtures, like say
Charlie Austin is interesting. It's Van Dijk at the back, isn't it? And it's Charlie Austin up front, who can be fixture proof, can't he?
Yeah, he can. But I mean, going back to Stoke, because they're perhaps potentially more interesting because they've had a bad run of games. So does that explain their form? Do good fixtures generate good form? So if you believe in that philosophy, then I think there's a player, Arnautovic is probably the player to get in. But if you look, I mean, shots inside the box, they've 9 all season. So there's 7 games. So that's 1 and a bit a game. So it's not great. I mean, he's top of that. Allen has been pulling the strings. So he's had 23 crosses. And he's been getting the clearances, blocks and interception points as well. He's getting 27 of them, which is pretty good. So he's the all-round. He's covering the midfield. He's doing what he does for Wales.
Yeah, he's taking corners as well.
But he's injured at the moment, so we don't know whether he's going to be playing. If he's not playing, I think Stoke could suffer.
Yeah.
But I think if he's playing, I think it could gel because of those fixtures. They're so good. And if you're going to take that punt on Arnautovic, it's probably your man. And I think Andy's right. Johnson is looking good. He's, he potentially can be good. I want to say. We know that he can be in the past, so it's a risk. It's a Maverick punt, but why not? It's good.
Andy's got another Stoke Maverick punt up his sleeve later on. Okay, let's move on to. It's a classic question, isn't it, Jonty?
Yeah, Mark Harbrow asks, "What is your favourite Scoutcast moment?" So
many over the 200 episodes. Yeah. None of us have fallen down a hill in a bath, but what we have done, Granville, we have recorded in the basement. Remember that one, that episode where it sounded like we were in a fish tank? It was awful, wasn't it? We had nowhere to go, did we?
Yeah, it was absolutely awful. I wonder if you still got that episode, because it'd be useful to have a listen to it.
I can dig it out
because we do take pride in our audio, don't we? We do.
Absolutely, yeah. And the fidelity of that would be sound engineers would be slitting their wrists everywhere listening to that. It was like we were inside a biscuit barrel and we'd been shaking about. We were desperate to keep it going, though, weren't we?
Yeah, and it was quite early as well. What other memories have you got, Mark? I think we've done this before, haven't we? Maybe when it was...
the classic for me was... Yeah, the classic for me was the Christmas episode that I let you edit. That we recorded it, I think, at work in the sound studio, and you said, "Oh, I'll edit it," and it was coming up. It was Christmas Eve, maybe, was it, or the day before Christmas Eve? And I was like, "Yeah, all right. Well, I've got plenty to do. I've got some shopping to do. You go and edit it." You edited it, and I published it without listening to it, and then I listened to it when it was published. And you put what was the track you put on there?
It was "Let It Snow."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I thought, okay, well, you can use 10 to 15 seconds of this, and we'll be all right. It went on for about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes of Let It Snow. And then someone said on the site, "Oh, I hope you've got copyright for that." And I was like, oh my God, panic, absolute panic. I had to rip it, take it down, rip it out, republish it. That was my Christmas Eve, that was, doing that. That was unbelievable.
It was a truly a knee-jerk moment, and you took down all the episodes as well. Everything that you thought might have had a little bit of copyright on it.
I was panicked, completely panicked. John, you done enough of these now? A few.
Yeah. Well, I think back when I first started doing it, I did a segment called the Full Jonty, where a member of the community we would look at their team. And look over their season, and there was a couple of those I quite liked. I liked there was a regular on the site, Doozra, who also revealed on the Scoutcast he found my dog who went missing.
Oh, that was a brilliant moment.
He lives, I believe, in London, and I live in the West Country. But he knew some country lanes and actually recommended the place where my dog might be, which he was. Amazing. So we had him on, and he was famous for taking lots of hits, a bit like me last week. So I've got a bit of Doozra, a bit of a Doozra in me this week.
Yeah, I was always suspicious when Doozra knew where your dog was. I was like, how does he know that?
Well, he knew the area. He knew the area. So
he's watching us.
And there was another one of those full Jonties I liked. There was a guy, and I can't remember his name now, but he incorporated a fantasy football into a weekly lads Olympics, which included, and we went out, and it included some absolutely ridiculous events, like whichever one had walked the furthest in a week. And I think they were so lazy. I don't think any of them mustered more than half a mile in a week.
We should do that next season.
I don't know. Yeah. They're climbing a hill. Who got to the highest altitude in a week? And they were maybe getting to 100 meters. They were. Andy,
you haven't done enough of these really to have some golden moments, have you? Have you got one?
Yeah. I think this episode, another 100 time, will get brought back up for last of the summer. Jason Puncheon figures. There's two kind of standout. I wouldn't say they're like funny moments, but you last season trying to convince everyone not to get Aguero. We seem to spend like the whole episode on that, only for it to all be reversed the next week. And then a couple of weeks ago, Jonty maybe not famously, telling you that he was miles ahead when I think it was.
I didn't want to bring that up.
20 points
ever since he said that, it's been a disaster.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that Mark says now that I'm miles ahead of Jonty, because as soon as you say it, you know what's going to happen.
I did call you a desperate man. I'm worried now.
Oh, it's bad karma. That's why, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, because when you said that, I was like, oh, bit cheeky. You'll regret that.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing, because it's a long old season, and you can't afford to say things like that. Was a slip by me there.
It was, yeah. And I've said a bad one tonight, a couple of bad ones. So
I do remember one time when I think I was ahead for most of the season. I was getting really cocky, and I think you reduced it. It was about 100 ahead, and you reduced it down to 50. And there was a Monday night game. And you'd bought Clint Dempsey, and you captained him. And he totally escaped me that I could have had him. I just didn't get him, and he scored a brace. And you closed the gap from 50 down to 2 points in one game week. And it was probably like 3 or 4 game weeks before the end. I mean, I did actually manage to cling on, but it was. I remember you come into work the next day and you shouted over the top of the monitors. It was
Gloaty.
Yeah. It was.
It was a thrilling season, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. It was. In the end, I held on, but it was a real frightener.
Hopefully, it'll be as close this season as well. It's early days, like Jonty says, so there's not much in it now. Let's look at the weekend ahead. Let's look at game week 8. Clean sheets. Jonty, do you want to kick us off?
Well, I think Chelsea are going to get a clean sheet. Because,
Leicester, do you?
Leicester are really, really poor. They've only scored 3 times away from home this season. They're just rubbish away. And also, I think they're targeting Europe a bit more. They're doing very well in the Champions League coming up.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be their priority. So not going to be good news for Leicester fans. Yeah.
Okay. And Granville?
I'm going to go for an obvious one. Southampton at home to Burnley. Burnley have actually been quite tight at home, but I think obviously it's a away game where they've struggled. Southampton are one of the better sides, particularly at home. They're quite tight. They don't let in that many shots.
Yeah, they've got injuries at the back, but they should still be all right, shouldn't they?
I think so. I think they're going to get a clean sheet. And Andre Gray is still not back. Is it the third game? He's got
2 more to go, so yeah, he's not back. So I think you're right. It's just Southampton injuries at full back. They'll have to play Martina. They might have to play McQueen at left back. They're talking about at the moment. So but I still think they'll be all right. Van Dijk just marshals that, doesn't he? Andy, your clean sheet.
Yeah, I think Arsenal and Spurs will keep a clean sheet. I think I'd have to always bet against West Brom away. That even though Chadley playing against his old club might do well, but yeah, Spurs for me.
Okay, there's the Arsenal one in there. Although the Bob Bradley factor, you just never know what he's going to bring to that Swansea team. Bournemouth for Hull for me. I think Bournemouth, they've kept 2 at home, 2 1-0 wins, and I think they'll win again. I think they're going to get looking like they've got more attacking threat. So I'll go Bournemouth at home to Hull. Fancy on a risk. I'm sure there's going to be a Bournemouth player mentioned in this. Jonty.
No, the Chelsea player again. So after my success of Willian last week, I'm going for Alonso. So he's installed at left wing back.
Stats are crazy, weren't they?
Yeah, he had the most goal attempts and most chances in game week 7 of any defender. So he was the best defender in attacking sense. And he did so well. I mean, I can't believe he's going to be taken off that. He's going to suddenly bring Ivanovic in or something ridiculous like that. Away from home. So I've mentioned. So I think there's going to be clean sheet points there as well. But also, Leicester have conceded a league worst 10 goals away from home. So they've got the worst defence away from home against an attack-minded left wing back, Marcus Alonso.
I say, Granville.
Well, I've got 2 choices. I think I'm going to go for I think I might leave. I mean, the first one I thought I was Bonnie because I think Stoke at some point he's going to break his scoring duck. And what better game can you have than Sunderland at home? But I've actually decided to change it, and I go for a man who is actually in form, Dusan Tadic.
Yeah,
he's got. I just checked.
Windmill might have something to say.
Windmill is going to question the risk element of Dusan Tadic game week 8 against Burnley.
I can see him fidgeting now in his chair.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
Windmill, but
not liking that.
Well, that's not a fancy island risk.
No, I get that, but listen, I doubted it myself, but I just checked, and he's only got 2.6% ownership. So
you can make a case, but Windmill says
brace yourself.
Well, if Andy can get, was it Andy or John? Jonty can get away with Sterling.
Yeah. Mark got away with Walcott.
No, he went Coleman.
Yeah, did he? Oh, that's right.
We didn't let him have it.
No, he wouldn't let me have it.
Well, I think.
Good try, Granville. We'll see what Windmill says.
All right, go for Bonnie. Bonnie's a risk.
You put it out there.
Tadic is nailed on.
Yeah, he's going to be the picks, I think. Andy, you're fancy on a risk.
Yeah, so I've probably already got too much faith in Stoke, but I think they're going to turn it around at some point, and what better fixture, like Granville said, than Sunderland at home. So I think Arnautovic and Bonnie are probably the 2 obvious ones. I'm going to go for Shaqiri. I think he's done five chances created over the last 2 game weeks against, I think it was West Brom and United. So
who's he going for, Jonty? Going for who?
So what was that again?
Who's he going for there? Can you repeat that? Because you always say Shaqiri when you say Shaqiri.
Oh yeah, no, those lips don't lie. It's
okay.
Shaqiri.
I tried. I'm trying to make him say.
I tried to get out of it, pretending I like doing a Wenger. I'm sorry, I just didn't hear that.
I didn't see that. I didn't hear it from my. I'm going to go in the same fixture. I'm going to go Duncan Watmore, who he's a favourite of FFS, isn't he? We're waiting for him to fulfil his potential. He was man of the match last time out. He's a road runner winger, and I think there's going to be goals for Sunderland at Stoke. I just think. Like you said, Joe Allen not playing, he's going to make a difference. I think it'll be a goal fest, surprisingly, that one. So I'm going Duncan Watmore. Yes, that's mine. Let's talk about transfers and captains, and we'll start with you, Jonty, because you're the maverick around here, these parts there. Hits everywhere. What are you doing with them?
As I said, it's one of 2 things. I'm either going to do nothing and just save the 2 transfers, and then the following week do Puncheon and Ibrahimovic to a striker and midfielder. And I don't know, it's between Aguero and Sanchez. It's a tricky one. Part of me thinks game week 8, Aguero.
Yeah, 9.
Let's just remind people, 9 goals in 2 game week 8 fixtures the last 2 times. Yeah. That's incredible. And He's at home. I think at the moment Aguero just has the edge. I'm pleased I have Sanchez though. But if I do make a move, it'll be Ibrahimovic to Costa and Lallana if he's out to maybe Son or Walcott, someone like that.
Okay, Andy.
Yeah, so I have problems. On Monday I had 8 flagged players. I know some of these are going to be international injuries.
Phantom injuries, yeah.
Yeah, like Aguero and Pickford are now not flagged, but I still have 6. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. But I'm looking at Ibra to one of about 5 or 6 strikers: Costa, Dini, Bonny, Wilson. I just haven't decided yet. But I really want an Arsenal players, and it's probably not going to be Sanchez just because of the price. So I'm looking at Walcott and. Hopefully, I have enough for Bellerin as well. So I have 2 free transfers. So
you're going to make 3 moves? I'm
probably going to make 3. Ibra, Balassi, and possibly Baines out, and then Walcott, Bellerin, and whichever striker I choose. But I just can't decide. And captain will be Aguero for sure.
Yeah, okay, for sure. Confidence. Granville.
I think is this a recurring theme or what? Because Aguero's got is he not a slight doubt?
Not any longer. Not any longer. He had a calf injury, but he played 90 minutes last night. So I think he'll have to be assessed. But
yeah, because he does this like he goes away and then we start doubting, whether he'll play, because he's played 180 minutes for Argentina, picked up a slight knock. So it does concern me a little bit. But I think if he's certain to play, then I'm sure he's certain to score at home to Everton. So I can't see the only other option for me probably is Theo Walcott at home to Swansea. Yeah, it's always risky, but I can't risk. Callum Wilson at home to Hull. Nah,
done well for you, Wilson.
Yeah, he's keeping under the radar.
Yeah, good option, I think.
Your third striker, I think it's him or Austin at the minute.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're absolutely right. And your transfer, or you making one?
I've been looking at. I might get. I know Southampton have got pretty awful fixtures, but I'm kind of a bit tempted because I've got to do something with Lallana if he's not going to be playing. I think he's got to go. I could upgrade him up to Firmino. I should really have done that last week. But I've gone without Liverpool players the whole season, and the first one I only get 20 minutes out of him. So, and Liverpool got. United at the weekend, so I need to swap him for someone. I might just sit on it or look at Payet.
Okay, Payet, interesting. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to captain Aguero, I guess. It's tempting to go Sanchez into Swansea, but I just don't know what they're going to turn up like. He's going to park the bus, isn't he? Surely. And Arsenal have punished us before when we fancied them. Transfer, I haven't got a clue. I've got 2 West Brom defenders at home to Spurs. Do I back them? Evans is on 4 bookings as well. And I've got James Collins still there. So James Collins is probably going to have to go. So I'm looking at a Bournemouth defender maybe. They've got decent fixtures. Or even whisper it, Andrew Robertson at Hull. What am I thinking? 4-5, he gets forward a lot. Hull have got great fixtures. Might get me 1 or 2 clean sheets. I don't know. It seems it's such a boring move getting a 4-5 defender. This is what I wanted to avoid. If you remember a few weeks ago, I said, I don't want to be in a situation where I can only get 4 or 5 defenders in my team. But I knew this was coming. So, yes, I don't know. Don't fancy this week very much. If Arsenal blank, I'm in trouble. But we'll see. We'll see. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me for episode 200. Thank you to the listener. If you've listened to anywhere near 200, I'm sure you haven't, then thanks so much for listening. And also, from now on, honestly, we will be more respectful to Last of Summer Wine as a result of Sydney's very kind email. Yes, I will stop making jokes at that programme's expense. Granville, it's a good night for me. Thank you for joining me over many episodes. Do you know how many you've done, Granville? Must be 150.
How many have I done?
Yeah.
No, much more than that. I think I missed the bulk of the ones I missed last season. Maybe how many would I have missed? 20?
Maybe 20, yeah.
I've done about 180, 190.
A loyal servant. We need testimonials. Testimonial coming up for Granville Scoutcast one. And John T, thanks for joining us with more community questions.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention FanDuel as well, because we have a rivalry.
Only because you're pulling away again, aren't you?
Because I'm pulling away. But it's also, I just wanted to mention it because I ditched Firmino, and because I ditched Firmino in FPL, I transferred Lallana out of my FanDuel side and got Firmino in. And as a result, I won £10. So that's why I wasn't too.
Yeah, you only beat me by 9 points. I can't believe.
Yeah, but it was that difference between £10.
Yeah, I like your tactic of getting in the players you got rid of.
Well, it is because people were going, "Oh no, John, what have you done? That's insane! You got rid of Firmino for Lallana. You must be crying." And I wasn't, because I was just thinking, "Oh, actually, well, he's my Sky captain as well. I've got him in FanDuel as well." So, and so I wasn't too bothered about that really. So it was quite nice.
Yeah, and also a few more things to mention. I completely forgot this. We start the cup very soon. It might actually open up for entry tomorrow. It's going to qualify round is game week 10, we think. So look out tomorrow. We might have an article launching the cup so you can enter that. It's free to enter. Amazon vouchers and FanDuel credit up for grabs as well. And it'll be fun. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do what the BBC did and nick their match of the day idea, where we'll pick a team in the cup, and then we'll follow them through the cup, and who they lose to, if they lose, we'll then follow that team, and then we'll talk about their journey throughout the cup on the Scoutcast. That'll be quite nice.
Yeah,
the other thing to mention is Hall of Fame, Jonty.
Yeah, that's yes. We have a dispatch in from the professor who's been working very hard all season. Lots of people have been asking about this. Been some technical changes behind the scenes. And he's got it back up and running, and we're going to be launching that soon, tomorrow even, or
hopefully,
the next day.
And
definitely by the end of the week.
Villa still top, I hear.
Yeah, he is the manager to keep an eye on.
Another legend. Andy, thank you very much for joining us for the many episodes that you've done. Part of episode 200, part of FFS history. You must be very proud.
I'm indeed, yeah, glad to be here. Hopefully, a few more. Like I said earlier, I think I've done about 25 now, so yeah, in a row. So yeah, doing all right.
What nonsense. Here's to episode 296. It's a good night for me.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, all.